The Pittsburgh Steelers have always prided themselves on building a roster capable of contending at the highest level, and heading into the upcoming season, that philosophy remains unchanged. With the team entering organized team activities, OTAs, and looking to establish continuity under a new offensive system led by coordinator Arthur Smith, the front office is actively exploring ways to bolster their roster, particularly on offense. One of the more notable developments to emerge recently is the report that the Steelers have engaged in trade discussions with the Miami Dolphins, specifically regarding tight end Jonnu Smith. This potential move has sparked widespread debate across the fan base and within the NFL media landscape. Jonnu Smith, a 29-year-old Pro Bowl tight end with a unique blend of athleticism, experience, and familiarity with Arthur Smith's offense, would not only bring talent but also continuity to a system still taking root in Pittsburgh. However, despite his accolades and track record, the pursuit of Smith is far from a straightforward decision. There are layers of complexity surrounding his contract, his role within an already crowded tight end room, and how his addition might affect the team's overall cap situation. To fully appreciate why this move is even being considered, one must first look at the current state of the Steelers' offensive weapons. The offseason saw the surprising and somewhat controversial trade of wide receiver George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys. While the move may have resolved ongoing internal issues between Pickens and the organization, it undeniably left a void in terms of offensive firepower. Pickens, despite his attitude concerns, was one of the more dynamic playmakers on the Steelers roster, capable of turning short receptions into big gains with his physicality and athleticism. In the wake of Pickens' departure, the Steelers are now counting on an unproven group of wideouts to support their newly acquired WR1, DK Metcalf. While Metcalf brings superstar pedigree and explosive playmaking ability, the depth behind him leaves much to be desired. Calvin Austin, a speedster with potential but limited production, Roman Wilson, a promising rookie, and veteran Robert Woods, who is arguably past his prime, form a receiving core that lacks the proven firepower typically needed to succeed in the AFC. It's against this backdrop that the Steelers' interest in Jonnu Smith starts to make sense. Smith, who is coming off the best season of his career, an 884-yard, 8-touchdown campaign that earned him his first Pro Bowl selection, represents more than just another tight end. He is a player who thrived under Arthur Smith's system in both Tennessee and Atlanta. The chemistry and understanding between coordinator and player could allow Smith to integrate quickly into the offense, potentially becoming a key contributor from day one. But despite his on-field value, there are valid concerns regarding Smith's current contractual status. He is in the final year of his existing deal and is reportedly seeking a pay raise, which complicates matters for a team that has already committed significant financial resources to other areas. Smith's current cap hit stands at $4.6 million, and any acquiring team would likely need to negotiate an extension or restructure to avoid cap headaches down the road. Pittsburgh is currently operating with roughly $20 million in available cap space, but with $10 million of that earmarked for a potential deal with quarterback Aaron Rodgers, financial flexibility is already limited. Then there's the issue of redundancy. Pittsburgh recently rewarded their former second-round pick, Pat Freiermuth, with a substantial 4-year, $48.4 million extension that begins this season. Freiermuth is expected to be the focal point of the tight end room, and while his 2023 campaign was respectable, 65 catches for 653 yards and 7 touchdowns, it's widely believed that he's yet to reach his full potential, partly due to inconsistent quarterback play and underutilization in prior schemes. Adding Smith to a room that already includes Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, and Donald Parham, though Parham is now out for the season with a torn Achilles, raises questions about role allocation and snaps distribution. The tight end group, while talented, could become overcrowded, potentially limiting the developmental opportunities for younger players like Washington, who was drafted with high expectations just a year ago. Nevertheless, the rationale behind the move lies in the offensive philosophy of Arthur Smith. During his previous stints, Smith has consistently leaned on multi-tight end sets, often utilizing 2 or even 3 tight ends to create mismatches, open running lanes, and provide safety blankets for quarterbacks. Smith's offense requires versatility and depth at the tight end position, and Jonnu Smith's familiarity with the playbook and his ability to serve as both a blocker and a pass-catching threat make him an ideal fit schematically. There's also the question of whether the Steelers see Smith as a luxury addition or a necessary component in a reimagined offense. The loss of Parham, who was expected to play a major role as the second receiving tight end, has forced the Steelers to reevaluate their depth. With the AFC North shaping up to be as competitive as ever, Pittsburgh knows that even marginal gains on offense could make the difference between a playoff berth and another frustratingly average season. And let's not forget the looming uncertainty at quarterback. While the team continues to pursue Aaron Rodgers, the future Hall of Famer has yet to make a decision, and every day that passes without a commitment adds pressure to the front office. Should Rodgers choose to retire or sign elsewhere, the team may be forced to rely on Mason Rudolph or pivot to another veteran option like Jameis Winston or even Carson Wentz. In such a scenario, having dependable tight ends who can provide reliable targets over the middle would become even more important. Jonnu Smith would be more than just a contingency plan. He could serve as an anchor in a new-look offense, helping bridge the gap between the team's current uncertainty and its long-term goals. The Steelers have already shown a willingness to surround Arthur Smith with familiar faces, signing former Titans and Falcons players like Cordarrelle Patterson, Scotty Miller, and Michael Pruitt. Bringing in Jonnu Smith would continue that trend, reinforcing the belief that the team is committed to fully implementing their new offensive identity. Still, even with all the dots connecting so seamlessly, the trade isn't a sure thing. The Dolphins, who acquired Smith earlier this offseason, may be reluctant to move him so soon unless they receive significant compensation. Furthermore, the team's decision could hinge on internal factors such as Smith's role in their own scheme, injury concerns, or locker room dynamics. Then there's the bigger picture for Pittsburgh. The organization is known for valuing its draft capital and typically avoids overpaying for players via trade. Giving up a mid-round pick for a player entering the final year of his contract, and then committing additional cap space toward an extension, may go against the front office's standard operating procedures. In summary, the potential acquisition of Jonnu Smith represents a fascinating convergence of need, opportunity, and familiarity. The Steelers are a team in transition, not in terms of a rebuild, but in trying to retool quickly enough to compete at a high level while integrating a new offensive system. Their pursuit of Smith speaks to their urgency to field a more dynamic offense and to insulate themselves from uncertainty at key positions. Whether or not the trade comes to fruition remains to be seen. But the very fact that such a move is being considered signals a shift in Pittsburgh's approach, a willingness to adapt, to surround their new offensive leader with pieces that can make the scheme work from day one, and to position themselves as legitimate contenders in an increasingly competitive AFC. If Jonnu Smith becomes the next player to don the black and gold, it will mark another step in an offseason full of calculated risks, each one designed to give the Steelers their best shot at reclaiming playoff relevance and, perhaps, something even greater.